Welcome, Taurus. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a message for you. And I'm going to start with the crystal spirit for bronzite. Bronzite is, as the name implies, has a lot of iron in it. So it is a stone of strength. This is validating your incredible power, your groundedness, your phenomenal work ethic, your ability to be disciplined and to accomplish anything you set your mind to. This is also a card that assists you in releasing things that no longer serve you. So this is about releasing old patterns that you recognize have served, that have gone their distance, that have served you at a point in your life when they were necessary, but you no longer need those habits, those skills, those attitudes. There is a tremendous power of release here. And of knowing that you are wiser and stronger now, and that you can approach things in a new way because of your loyalty and trust. Because of your devotion, you take your connections, your relationships, your opportunities seriously. It feels like you're at a place of renewing your hope, your faith, your trust in a relationship, or perhaps aspiring to a new opportunity or a new relationship from a different place within yourself. And for the soul's journey, we have the imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. This is important because I feel for a lot of you, you are opening up to new information, that you are looking for a way of regrounding into what you consider your home. And that is naturally the physical home, but it's also your family. It's also the home in your heart. There's a sense here about reestablishing what home means to you, how you define home, how you define your security and your stability. You are the anchor in so many ways, whether you live alone or live in the context of a family. You're a powerful anchor. And what you're anchoring is coming up for question for you. You're reevaluating that. You're looking at whether your home, your family's history, your ancestry is really supporting who you are now and the opportunities that you see that may be likely. So in the present, the Queen of Wands, this is beautiful. You're inspired. You're full of confidence. You're full of determination. There's nothing that you want to do that you cannot achieve. But this is asking you to be more creative, more imaginative in your approach, to really follow your heart, to put less restrictions and limitations on what it is you can or would like to do. It feels as though this is the opportunity to pursue something that has always been a passion of yours. Something perhaps that the conditions didn't feel right. You didn't have the protection, you didn't have the security or the stability that you needed. But you have that now. And through your declaration of what it is you want, you are allowing others to be attracted to you, to align with you, to include you, to invite you. You're announcing to others that you're interested in X, Y, or Z, and that you want to be a part of this. Because of your strong personality, there's a certain intimidation or a certain sense others have that you've already accomplished something that you are renewing your pursuit of. And that can work against you in terms of people not assuming that you're not interested or you don't need help, but it can also work in your benefit. People believe your authority. They believe that you are trained, experienced, knowledgeable about this passion that you wish to pursue. And so that naturally attracts people to you because they see your determination. In the past, Page of Swords. This is in some ways describing the experience of a child or yourself as a child. There's a place where you came to understand the limits of what you know regarding something. And this can have everything to do with the passion that you are renewing right now in your life, the direction you're moving. Perhaps in the past you pursued this passion, you allowed yourself training to gain knowledge or experience, but you stopped at some inopportune point. You dropped it. You didn't feel like you could compete depending on the area of your interest. You didn't know that you had the time or the energy or would have the time or energy or stability to pursue this. But there's a part of you that just didn't feel that you had enough to participate in the way that you wanted to. And this is interesting when I think of something like the arts, music, where I see a vision of someone pursuing their musical talent, but perhaps at some point deciding, I'm never going to be a concert pianist. I'm never going to be uh, uh, an opera singer. I'm never going to be the prima ballerina. So I'm going to give up now. If I can't be the best in my idea that I've attached to what would be success for me, then I'm leaving it alone. In the future, the Two of Cups. Wow. This is beautiful. In a way, this makes me feel like this giving up, abandonment, or just recognizing your own limits, right? I'm good, but I'm not that good. Or I don't want to work that hard to be that good. Or I don't have the time or freedom to be able to be as good as I know I could be. I feel like you're reconnecting with yourself in some really important way. You're re-acknowledging that this was a dream, that maybe it's just something like so many of us, something you dropped, you never picked up again, you don't pursue, you don't even cultivate it as a hobby. And there's a way in which you are coming to terms, reconnecting with yourself in order to acknowledge this was a dream, but perhaps it's one that I can accomplish in a different way. Perhaps I'm not going to be the prima ballerina, but perhaps I could run the children's dance class program. Perhaps I can work on the development team of an arts organization. Perhaps I can be a docent or a donor or a supporter in some way. Perhaps I can work in the organization that empowers these artists to perform, whatever it is, if you're catching my drift. And I'm using arts as an example, but this is not confined to the arts. This is in any area. Creativity exists in everything that you as an individual do. So you don't have to be an artist to be creative, to be inspired, to want to move towards a dream. Those are human capacities. I'm using the arts as an example. But this also can relate to the way in which you are finding connection in relationship. And this feels like it's as a result of you're honoring yourself. You're building the relationship with yourself. And perhaps in lieu of a relationship, that's the relationship you focused on, understanding that all your relationships are going to reflect that primary relationship. And if it is a relationship with another, a significant other, you may have a moment where, or an opportunity to reestablish a friendship, a deeper connection based on who you are now, particularly if this relationship is a long relationship. Really reconnecting to who you are as people now, reestablishing a friendship, or being clear about the boundaries of a relationship in order to sustain it, in order for it to grow, in order for it to keep doing the work that it's been doing in your life. Because this is a deep connection. This is deep familiarity, deep knowing one another in a way that is productive, that is supportive, that is reciprocal. If this reading is resonating for you, Taurus, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Thank you for being here and for supporting me in whatever way you do. Wow. Okay, so we have the Lady of Cups, the Queen of Jades, rather, and the Three of Staffs, clarifying the past. The Page of Swords, the Queen of Wands is clarified by the Chariot card. Is that the Chariot? Yes. And the Temperance card, and the Two of Cups clarified by the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Staffs. Wow. Okay. So the past. You were definitely good at something that you were talented at. You definitely know how to make something work. You definitely put in the work to whatever talent, interests that you were pursuing. And this isn't just about childhood. I don't know if I said that, but this is about any interest that you recognized that you might not be able to experience it success in the way that you wanted to, but you devoted yourself to it. This shows me that you were really good at it. You were really grounded. You were really solid. And for many of you, you worked in the context of some kind of a community. If this was an art form, you were part of a band or an orchestra, or if you were a dancer, you were part of a company or an organization around a company. You were involved in working with other people to create something of beauty. You were still an ingenue or a beginner in some ways, but you were solid. You were expected to go the distance, and you expected that of yourself. But you didn't question it when you were young. It was still a curiosity. Doing something well, you didn't know how valuable that was, how rare that was. And this is a story I hear from many creatives. I was great when I was young, but I really didn't believe the people around me that what I was doing was all that great. Well, you were one of those people that was that great and were willing to do the work. You were disciplined, you were devoted, you had a work ethic that was phenomenal, and you were willing to work with others. In the present, the Queen of Wands, clarified by two major arcana, the Chariot and the Temperance. So I do recognize that you have survived a lot. Temperance card tells me there have been many storms, many battles, many disappointments that you have survived. And along the way, you have recognized the importance of healing and connecting your strengths, your talents, your abilities to the opportunities that were available. And even storms, battles, hardship contain many opportunities for lessons learned. So you embrace that. And it feels like a bit of a rocky road, but you emerged out of that confident, clear in your skills, highly principled, the high standard of excellence, and that empowered you to move beyond your comfort zone. This is important because you're comfortable in doing all the work. You're comfortable in setting things up so that others can participate in it. But this feels like a pursuit of something that is a promise to yourself. This is a pursuit of your potential. Potential, I believe, that you've neglected or you have felt incapable of addressing or reviving or grasping. This opportunity felt until recently out of reach, but it required you to rethink what success, even participation, impactful participation could mean. And part of that has been gleaned through all of the trials and tribulations you've survived, you've overcome. That has taught you a lot about all the different ways that you can participate in something without being the center of traditionally attention. Ways that would give you satisfaction, ongoing exposure to something you love, association with like-minded people who share your talents and interests. This is putting you on a path of discovery, of pursuing a goal, your potential in a way that you are aware will make you feel uncomfortable, will press against your fears, and you're okay with that now. You survived so much worse, so much more, when the goal, the destination wasn't as vivid, wasn't as playful, delightful, enjoyable, exposing you to so much of the world as the opportunities that you are creating for yourself now. And in the future, the Two of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ten of Staffs. So there is a truth that you've come up against. And that truth is that it's important that you drop the responsibilities, the obligations that you've carried for so long. That is those to others, though that is those to yourself, that rest on a pre-programmed idea about what you should have and what you should do. So a lot of the work that you do, a lot of the burdens you carry attend to that expectation of long ago, something that was programmed into you, something you accepted, something that has benefited you, but something that may have lived its course. And this is part of the revelation you're experiencing. It's interesting because I feel as though this revelation is connected to this place in your past where you didn't feel like you had what it took to pursue a particular goal, a particular interest or talent. Even as others saw you as more than capable, as gifted, as someone who could go the distance, who could achieve. And now that sense, that passion, that awareness, that consciousness that you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to clear away the things that are no longer necessary or important. for you to carry. You've been supporting and providing for others. You've been doing the work for others, or you've been pursuing the goals of others without realizing it. It's time that you stop that. And that's what helps you to honor and connect deeply with your highest potential. This is a potential that most of us are afraid of actually approaching, that it's often invisible to us. We've so become attached to the way something is supposed to look, the way our lives are supposed to look, according to someone else quite often. And even if it is according to you, the outcome, success, doesn't necessarily look the way we thought it would. And there's other opportunities for us to achieve something that is of high significance to us, something, in fact, that really defines us. Wow, I'm getting a lot of energy from this reading, and it's interesting because so many people are in a period of pause. And although I do think that's relevant for you, I do think the idea of releasing the need for validation of what you're doing and the performance of something that you think will help you to be included or belong to a particular group, or that will make you liked, is something that you are working through. All of us are working through that to some degree or another. You are on the verge of something. You're on the verge of something important, something you can't see, but you're also allowing yourself to just live in the silence, to pause for a moment, to slow down a bit in order to understand better what is in the way of what you want to do. So I'm going to finish this reading with a flower oracle, and I pulled the Stephanotis, and the key word is cooperation. Take the hand offered or ask. I love this. As an earth sign, I think this is something we are so busy being on the opposite side of this, offering a hand, helping others. Others are asking us for help, and we're more often than not complying. And to do that takes a lot of humility, to ask for help, to accept support. Boy, that takes courage, especially when you're attached to your high level of competence here. You know how to work, you know how to make things work, and that's who you are. You're responsible, and it's time for you to see the other side of that you've done your work, that you're deserving of support back, of being recognized, of receiving support and acknowledgement. So thank you, Taurus, for this reading. Until next time, namaste.